How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. I have the distinguished honor and pleasure to bring in a great entrepreneur. His videos and content, and I see what he's doing out there, inspires me on a regular basis. And I'm honored to have him on this channel. And I'm glad that he is definitely giving us the honor to do this. I'm about to bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Jarmal Stevens.
Hey,
How you doing, young man?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes, sir. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Wonderful, wonderful. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Thanks again for taking time out of your busy schedule, man. Really
No, thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me. Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate that. That lets me know I'm doing something okay.
Oh, you're doing a lot of great things that are okay.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Good content and all that good stuff. And I see you out there grinding, man. You're getting it in. So just keep up the good work, man. So let me stop talking. Please tell the audience who you are and all that good stuff.
Well, my name is Jarmal Stevens. I'm from a small town called Savannah, Georgia. I currently reside in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I'm actually in the travel space, in the network marketing arena. So I show people how to become travel agents, work for themselves, also how to build residual income and create more income coming inside their home outside of just having a job. I always believe if you're going to be online looking at everybody else's business, where they've been, who they've been with, why not have a business of your own?
Amen to that. Amen to that. And please tell the audience how long have you been on this journey to I love to call it entrepreneurial success and multiple stream success.
Well, actually, I got introduced to this about 6 years ago, and I only got in because I like to travel. I mean, it was something I felt that was simple to do. I can use the product, and something weird happened, Larry. I told someone that told someone else that told a bunch of people. Then my eyes, my eyes kind of got open, and I kept seeing the success that was around me. And one thing I believe in, you can be what you see. So if you see a lot of lack and despair around you, that can weigh heavy on your mind. And once I got introduced to personal self-development through network marketing, it allowed me to assess a lot of things that were going on in my life. Because sometimes you don't even know you're doing the wrong thing because you've been doing it for so long. And I enjoy it. I really do. I think some people kind of get the concept of recruiting and sponsoring people conflicted, but what's different about having one McDonald's than having 10 McDonald's or 5 Burger Kings or 3 laundromats? It's the same concept. It's all about leverage. And sometimes our community really doesn't understand what it means to have leverage. Leverage is the best thing in the world because it may not be you who wants to build a big business, but if you put yourself in a position to talk to other people, because everybody needs multiple streams of income. I mean, we see what's happening right now in the world, and a lot of us are dependent on who we put in office to save us. You have to save yourself. So I was so fortunate that I was too dumb not to listen when I got introduced to this right here.
Amen to that. And to expound upon that, because we're in this crazy election season, which I'm not worried about. And I think most reasonable people, especially people that have these goals and aspirations to continuously move forward with their success, what would you tell the people to really expect in the year of 2021? No matter who's in office.
Yeah, I really, me and politics don't really agree. But I was taught, no matter who's in office, you have to take action. You have to build a financial wall around you and your family. And that doesn't depend on a job. That depends on you. It doesn't depend who's in office. I mean, there's so many resources out there. It's not that the resources aren't out there. We just lack the resources. So I would tell people, be more resourceful. I mean, we're on a free advertising platform with his Facebook. And Larry, most of the people I do business with, I've never, ever, ever seen them a day in my life. Never seen them.
Wow, and that speaks a lot. That really speaks a lot because you've built something where, like you said, you barely. And the funny thing is, majority of people I associate with, I kind of feel you on that one. The most of the majority of people I associate with right now are people like you. I've never met you before. We've been Facebook friends for a little bit. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to collaborate and whatnot in the future. But I only really do business and associate with most people online nowadays and this happened before COVID-19. And it just seems to be a growing trend now. More, I think the remote work from home lifestyle is just going to grow even more. So I think COVID-19 just put it in overdrive, to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah, it kind of gave you an understanding. Also, I like to add, Learn to collaborate. Find people who you see who are successful and model their behavior. And that's one thing I did. I remember the first gentleman I met. That kind of just made me say, "Wow." Was a guy named Tamir Brooks, and I looked at the way he dressed, the way his mannerisms were, his vocabulary, and I was like mesmerized. Like, I want to do what he's doing.
Exactly.
And I started meeting more people in that same arena. Like, what do they do? And I started videotaping them, and I would come home with my little girl toys, put them on the sofa in the basement where I'm at right now, and just model what I saw. And because your income will never exceed your personal development. And I know for me, coming out of school, I got my master's degree. I thought education stopped with school. It's an ongoing process. And I'm so fortunate that I have been able to meet other people who, have like minds and really stretch you, because sometimes you think you're doing all you can do until you meet somebody else. You be like, man, they never sleep. They always doing this. But we desire the thing that they have. So if you want to get the thing that other people have, model their behavior. That's one thing I would tell people for 2021.
Oh man, I could not agree with you more. And not only that, and that kind of goes into my next question. Not only just model the behavior, but like you said, kind of just do your darndest to pick their brain as much as possible.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays you can just get on YouTube or Facebook, because most people are just putting their perspective on the internet every single day, or at least every other day and whatnot. But what do you like your two, let's go with 3 favorite books when it comes to business and entrepreneurship? I know you got them.
Well, you know what? One of my favorite books is it's right here. I'll grab it for you. Hold up.
Yeah, go ahead. Take your time. Take your time.
The Slight Edge. I love this book right here.
Okay.
One of my mentors, Kim Satchel, he has a class, and we would mastermind the books. And one thing Mr. Satchel would always say, you reading the book from your understanding, okay? And I know nothing about the Bible. I'm not a theologian. I messed the word up, right? But there's something in there that says, lean on your own understanding or something like that. Somebody else will straighten it up for me in the comments.
Right.
When you read these books, you need to read them over and over, or read them with other people, because sometimes we'll read the book just to say we read the book, but we don't have the results in the books. Another book, where the other book at? I read another book in China. Take the Stairs. I read that book on the train.
I know that one. Yeah.
Take the Stairs. I have that somewhere. Well, I don't want to be looking around on it, but I have that. Take the Stairs. And one that I did read that I really enjoyed was John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I mean, there's a lot of other books, but when you mastermind with other people with these books and give your takeaways, you're not just reading the books to get through the books.
I couldn't agree with you more. And when you said you got into this business 6 years ago, was there like a burning desire inside you that said, I need to do something different as far as outside of the status quo? I mean, was there anything of that nature? Or you just kind of fell into it?
Not at all. One of the things that you see a lot of people do, they hope, they pray, and they wish for something to happen. And when it falls in their lap, they don't recognize the blessing. Okay. Me, I was very, very hesitant. Like, why? But like I said, I was listening to my own self, and sometimes the worst enemy is the enemy. So just being dragged to me, I mean, like literally, Larry, dragged to me is like, why would I want to hear that again? Like, that was my attitude about it.
Oh, yeah.
But seeing and going through the trainings and just being plugged in. What I mean by plugged in, you plugged into something good, because if you have a lot of garbage coming in, you're gonna have a lot of garbage going out. And one of my first mentors, Ethan Clemens, gave me a CD by a gentleman named David Eminitier. And the only reason I listened to that CD, because I didn't want to lie to him if he asked me, did I listen to it? You know how somebody said, did you look at something?
Right.
Like, well, I've been kind of busy. That's a rehearsed excuse, right?
Right.
So I listened to that CD, and that CD led me to Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn. And I'm a big disco fan, but at work I would listen to disco all day because I like disco.
Right.
Don't judge me, I like disco and funk. And
Nothing wrong with
I
that.
started listening to that, and every day, man, I say about every day I listen to that stuff 8 hours a day. And some days I would cry. And I was like, man, I really didn't understand that I had a problem. The problem was me, because it's real easy to blame the job, your school, your spouse. My mom ain't never did this for me. No, but you got all the resources around you. You just picking the wrong resources. And one of the things right here, this is a 42-inch TV I put in my basement, and I noticed that wealthy people don't have media like that. They have more libraries.
Yes.
They're always learning, more information to help them grow.
It's true.
So the person I became in the business allows me to see where I wanted to go, because sometimes you just don't know that you just don't know.
And you know what? I couldn't agree with you more on that one, because I remember one time I was at an event and I ran into Michael Bloomberg. Whether you love him or hate him is irrelevant, but he's a very smart man and he's a very successful entrepreneur. But one thing, I got a chance to talk to his security staff, and they said the houses that he has, no TVs. All he does is read constantly. And I remember hearing the saying. I forgot who said it, but you just stated it. Most quote unquote successful billionaires, millionaires, etc., don't have large media platforms, but they do have large libraries. Yeah. And I couldn't agree with that more so than anything else to this day. And that stuck with me. So with you bringing that up, it's just like, I couldn't agree with you more, 100%. What do you consider to be the biggest benefit of your business or businesses?
You know what? That's a great question. Well, I'll just start with the travel business. I like to travel, Larry. I mean, that's point blank, period. And a wealthy person that you and I know said, if you like something, you should own it. So being able to travel, but you need money, right? It's not going to get far in the sky. But I have a product that everybody wants. I really don't have to sell it. At the end of the day, I think marketing is the key thing for anything. If you have a good product and you don't market it, nobody's going to know about it. And I think professionalism, I think sometimes with social media, and not to get away from your question, a lot of people kind of get discouraged when people don't do business with them right away. But people are judging you based upon past behavior or learned behavior. So you have to make yourself better to attract the type of people you want to do in business. And one of the going things on Facebook, I know I was very guilty of this, so I'm not judging anybody. I would base my success off of people not supporting me. I never seen an ad with Walmart or Target saying my family and friends don't come inside Walmart or Target. They could care less. So when you come inside business, you really can't think about your target market being people that you know. I like to call those people your ambassadors, because once you start becoming a better person, a better businessman or a businesswoman, these people will go to bat for you, but you just can't wait for them to do business with you. So I think the best thing about my business is the product, man. I love it, man. Like, if nobody never did business with me, Larry, and you and I went on a trip, I met you on a trip. Well, say if we know each other, right? You find out that your trip was $1,000 more than mine, and we friends, we middle school friends, right? You're gonna look at me funny, like, why didn't you tell me how I can get my trip $1,000 less? Well, I didn't think you want your trip $1,000 less. So once you understand what you have, and most people don't, and that's the unfortunate part about it. Everybody sees the income potential, but they don't look at the process that it takes to get there. You have to go through a lot of no's, and you look at everything that's the internet. It said, why are you creating the internet? The car. Why are you creating the car? Because we have horses. So people understand you have to go through a process of ignorance. Yes. I like to call it, you're going through the valley to get to the peak. And I just thought about something. This book changed my life, and I forgot about this book. The Trash Man to the Cash Man by Myron Golden. That book.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that book changed my life. Yeah.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
that's the life change. Is between that book for me and Powernomics from Dr. Claude Anderson. Those are the main two that have changed my life.
I think it's kind of scares you because you'll open it up and you be like, this what I need to be doing? Do I really want to do that? Well, this is what you say you want. And that goes back to the things you hope and wish for when they fall in your lap. Like this is the first thing you got to do. Well, it's like the gym. I don't want to go to the gym, but you want to lose weight. Well, I got to stop eating fried chicken, but you want to lose weight. That's how these books are. Well, I got to read this and do this. Yeah, and you got to do it a lot, and you got to fail a lot. So once people can embrace failure and failing forward and failing fast, I think they can do anything they want to do.
I could not agree with you more, because it's the old saying, fall down 5 times, get up 7 times, right?
But most people don't look at it that way, Larry. You know, I always tell people, like, do you have kids? And they'll tell me yes. I say, how many times did your child fall down? A bunch of times when they was walking. But the only reason they got back up because they saw you walking. You were the catalyst. So when you fall down and something don't work, that's why it's important to get around the people who have what you desire.
Amen
so
to
you
that.
Can see that it's possible, because you're going to have despair. You're going to have betrayal. You're going to have jealousy, envy. If you don't have these things, you're not doing it right. And I heard a coach say this one time: if they're not talking about you, you ain't doing it right. But if you don't want to be talked about, do nothing. Last time I checked, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. They made a song about it, Larry.
It's so true. It is a God's honest truth, and it goes into this next statement. People will go to school for a numerous amount of years and get into a career for a numerous amount of years to get to the top, but they don't want to spend at least 3 to 5 or even 10 years to build a business, or just to build another stream of income. And they look at you like it's ludicrous for you to make that statement.
Well, let's talk about the environment. The environment kind of dictates your belief system. So if you've been taught all your life, go to school, get a good education. See, that was good in the 70s, because that's what our parents and grandparents had to do. You know, they had to be the best of the best because they were going up against different challenges of those days. Yes. So that stuff was taught. But when we're in the information age, you see kids playing with toys on YouTube, making what, six figures, sometimes on a monthly basis. When you bring that idea to somebody who have the archaic way, and it's not a judgmental term, right, archaic way of thinking, you know, it's like 8 tracks. We're not going to sell 8 tracks anymore. Nobody uses them. With CDs, everything digital. You know, you have to adapt with times, and some people just kind of what you call it, cognitive dissonance.
Yes,
where you can show them, but what they've been taught, you can't. That's why high performance coaches charge so much, because they already know they got to break this.
Yes, sir.
Wash the brain of everything that you've been taught. And most people will walk away from people because it's like, look, I don't have time to deal with someone who doesn't want it.
Exactly.
You go to Tony Robbins seminar, I don't know if you've been to one of those seminars. They selling something
all the time,
and they're gonna sell it, and it's gonna sell out. But they know that everybody's not gonna participate in what they have. And once you get around that challenge that everybody's not going to do it, you have to understand that. And I agree with you. I mean, if I would have went to school and read the books that you've read, the books that I've read, other books that I suggested to read, yeah, you'd be further ahead in life, very, very much further ahead in life.
And it kind of goes on my next question. Do you think, and and most people think that this isn't going to happen, but do you think that the school systems anywhere outside of, you know, private schools and whatnot are actually going to start implementing any sort of entrepreneurial principles so that people can be prepared for today's economy and tomorrow's economy?
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, you think about it, school teachers, they're underappreciated, undervalued. Yes. And, you know, you asking them to build a castle with toothpicks. What I mean by that, you have so many students and a lot of parents send their kids to school is a babysitting device. Okay, let's go ahead and say that. And depends on what kind of household that is. I was always taught it begins in the home.
Right.
So if the parent isn't personally developing, right, and the tablet, the media is raising the kid because the parent is tired, you know. Now you send the kid to school and the teacher has a job to do outside of just what they have with their family. It's kind of hard to say, man. I mean, you probably got some programs that do that, But I think it's unfair to have the schools do it when it's something that can be done, because everything is on YouTube.
It is.
If we looked at YouTube like we look at the Housewives, the Super Bowl, LeBron, and get the right information, you can develop a curriculum where you leveraging the stuff that's already out there.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree with you more.
Because you can't teach something that you don't know. So let me find the resources. Google is a good friend. People ask me questions. They're like, let's go to Google, because they ask me. I don't know. Let me go find out.
Exactly.
And you have to read, and on top of reading, you have to comprehend. And if you're gonna pass that information to somebody else, because they always say the root bears the fruit. So, and a lot of these parents are seeing these kids like, my child ain't do this. Well, you got your child now, so we can't rehearse that lie anymore. So it's kind of hard to say, Larry. But I think the information is out there for everybody to kind of plug into. But it just depends on what you desire. If you happy just making enough money to pay your bills, and I think that's kind of like a gift and a curse. Yes. You want to be grateful for what you have, but everything is out here for you. If you ever follow Mr. Golden, Myron Golden, he teaches biblical principles of business. And once he breaks down, and like I say, I know nothing about the Bible, but once he breaks down everything, you'll understand that you've been taught something and it's been a misunderstanding, because you're supposed to have dominion. I think I'm using that word right, over everything, but that comes with resources. So to get these resources, you have to provide for yourself, but all the stuff is out there, because the hardest part about it, everybody needs capital. Capital is people. We don't have to create people. That's the hard part. You just got to go out and get the people.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. And it kind of goes into this, because do you think for the single income earner for the next 5 to 10 years, or just, I guess, for the rest of eternal time, they're going to lose? Because in my personal opinion, I think the single income earner is going to lose in this country if they still continue with, like, as you stated earlier, with the archaic mindset.
Well, until you face some adversity, like I've been a victim of 3 layoffs, right? Underemployed, but I had to get a job because that's all I was taught. Right. Or when I had my entrepreneur endeavors, it's like you give up right before the breakthrough. You don't understand that the struggle or the challenges are part of the process. Tyler Perry isn't who he is because everybody came to the plays right away.
Right. Okay? Right.
But we see the glory, but we don't know the story. You hear these cliche statements all the time, but the single income earner, even if you're making 200, 300,000, you live in a lifestyle based upon that income, and you could be high price broke, but just say if you aren't high price broke, if that is taken away from you, okay, now your whole life is flipped upside down, because that's your only source of income. When I love going to seminars. I love being pitched. And for me, it's a tool. Like if you and I were walking in the mall and the guy was trying to sell me something, I'm going to sit down and listen to him and listen to his presentation, listen to everything. Because I want to either take something from it or encourage him. Like, look, you got to talk to more people. You got to go faster. You got to hit the points, because somebody pulled me to the side and showed me. So I think I would be selfish not to show that person. But to just caveat to that question, if you don't have a multiple sources of income, it's a great song by Third World. Are you familiar with Third World?
Oh yeah, the Jamaican band, right?
Yeah, the reggae band. That's like walking on a tightrope, right? You cannot afford to stump your toe. If you stump your toe on a tightrope, what happens to you? You fall. So
amen to that.
And sometimes it creates that comfort. You get that comfort around you. Like, well, I got mine. But anything can happen. We just seen the world turned upside down. We never seen nothing like this before. And,
never.
I'm fortunate, like a lot of other people, fortunate that they still have income coming in. But you want to have multiple sources, man. It's a beautiful thing. But you got to be a good steward of your money, because you don't want to have $6,000 or $7,000 coming in, but you're spending $8,000 or $9,000. That's a bad combination.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think you hit a real great point. You know, capital doesn't always have to be money. It can be people. And if you have the right people around you on a regular basis, and you're constantly, like you said, if you're in a mall and somebody's giving you a sales pitch, you're going to listen to them. You constantly engaging with people that are somewhat like-minded. They don't have to be 100% like-minded. You can really just grow and grow and grow. It's just like, it's a constant networking and whatnot. And I think that people don't realize that there's nothing wrong with being a fan of football and Atlanta Housewives, but don't let that be your everything. That's my only thing. It's like, you know, have those conversations about stocks and bonds. Have those conversations about cryptocurrency and gold. Have those conversations about, should I have an S corp or LLC? Have those conversations about, if I buy this house, what kind of money can I pull out of it as far as equity? Do we as a family need to own land and whatnot for the future and things of that nature? Maybe everybody in my family is not going to have a business, but somebody in my family should have a business. And maybe we get to the point where we can hire each other and then pull equity out of other resources and whatnot, so that we can buy a motel or we can buy a gas station. We can get a 7-Eleven. I mean, you know, the possibilities can be endless, especially like you said, with the world being flipped upside down. One thing that I've said to people, we've had more time on our hands because of this. And with that being said, this has been an opportunity, not for everybody, but for a lot of people, to create anew and start all over again, and to be able to get more social capital and financial capital when it comes to a multitude of things. It's just about the mind and the spirit and the soul, and where you're at and where you really want to go. And, you know, I mean, if this doesn't teach you, you can't just have one income. I don't know what will. Between this and the last recession in 2007 and 8, I don't know what will. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think what a lot of people have dealt with has been comfort. And, you know, when you pull somebody out of their comfort level, you know, you want to go back. I mean, Larry, if you and I went jogging right now, it's going to hurt. But if I want to get better at it, I got to keep jogging. We got to keep training. But I'm like, look, I don't want to do that because that hurts. And when it comes to your circle, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You know, and sometimes you got to be a good listener. And I think one thing about a lot of these books that we're taught to read, How to Win Influence by Dale, I can't think of the name of the book right now. How to Make People Like You. It is so many resources out here that can allow you to become the person you want to become. But if somebody brings it to you, you got to be open to it. But if you're not open to it, there's nothing nobody can do. Nothing. Because it's real easy to go back to what you've been doing. I mean, it's easy. You know, I want to go take a nap. You know, but I'm like, I'm not gonna sleep because I don't want to miss this interview because I thought it was an honor. But it just kind of gives you the wherewithal to let you know people are watching. And I tell new partners that come inside the business, I say, always post for looks, never for likes. People have to see how consistent you are before they do business with you. That builds know, like, and trust. Because I'm not giving anybody $7,000 to create a memory. Okay, vacation is a memory. If you're on there talking about, you know, let's be honest, some ratchet stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But it's easy to attract how you act, right? But if you decide you don't want to get better, guess what's going to happen? There's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing nobody else can do for you. You have to decide that you want more out of life than what you've been presented with. Because everybody has a hand. So play the hand you've been dealt, but you learn from that. You know, it's a stepping stone. You know, like, okay, I didn't make pro football. You know, I didn't make pro basketball.
Right.
There's other things out there that you can do. And when you're going through whatever you may go through, because we do go through, you know, spells of doubt, you have to, this right here is going to be your biggest asset right here.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. And yeah, trust me, I know all about that. So it goes into my next, since you were speaking of doubt, what would you consider as the biggest hurdle of your business or businesses?
Well, I'll tell you the biggest hurdle is customers. I think customers, but I also build a team. And I think one of the things about network marketing, direct sales, is the buy-in is so low, right? Because if you and I had to go buy a laundromat, it's going to cost us more than $200. You know, and I think people treat it like $200. And for me, I think the biggest thing you have to really deal with is the belief of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just don't believe that it can happen for them. But Larry, I mean, just outside of what I do, I've seen other people do great things, but it depends on if you want to be in that lane. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't put doubt in my mind that it can't happen for me. So just getting people to buy in to their efforts, whether they're bad efforts or good efforts. Like if you want this what you got to do. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, the snapback is very, very strong. You know, you don't know me, I got a lot going on. But that goes your words. See, your words are stones that are building your doubts, your fears. And you know, when you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. And I've been taught this all my life. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, but
Right.
we read that book, but sometimes we don't understand what we're reading. But we can quote it, but we don't live it.
That is so true. And
Yeah,
with that, because of the life experience that really needs to come behind it for you to
yeah,
truly understand and continuously evolve every single day.
yeah, yeah. So
And what
that's the challenge, getting people to believe. You know, it's a belief thing, but you can't let that slow you down. I will not let nothing slow me down. And my first mentor, Mr. Clemens, you know, he always would tell me, do not let nothing get in your way of your money. You can get very distracted doing other things, and it's easy to do. It's so easy to get distracted. I mean,
especially nowadays.
yeah. You know, some days I look up Larry and say, "Oh, I haven't advertised my business online," but I'm like, well, "I've been doing business,
Right.
so I'm it's income producing activity." But
Hmm.
sometimes you can be on that scroll, man. You 2 or 3 hours and you ain't do nothing but like, share, and comment, and say nothing about your business.
Exactly. And it's just it's that easy to lose sight of something just like
Yeah.
that. So now and I'm learning right now to one, post less unless it's dealing with my businesses, and two, to try to stay off of social media once that's done. And when I think I saw your video today or it was yesterday, he's like, okay, I'm about to get off here because I got some business to do. And I was like, you know what? I like that because that's what I'm trying to do more and more of and whatnot. Because like you said, it's so easy. You start scrolling and the next thing you know, hours pass by. You're like, oh, hold up. Wait a minute. I'm not being productive here. Let me stop messing around and whatnot.
Now,
So
now this is something I tell on myself about. I watch the TV and the phone at the same time. Yeah. So, you know, there's always room for growth, but the biggest thing about change, you have to be aware that you need to change.
man, that's probably the realest thing I heard all day.
Yeah.
That is the realest thing I've heard all day. And speaking of change, what advice would you give to somebody if they're 20, between 20, 25 years old, they're just leaving high school or they're just getting out of the military or just getting out of college and whatnot? What advice from economic perspective would you give them in today's new world?
Go read Think and Grow Rich about 10 times.
Mm,
About 10 times. That I think that book is a testament to everything. It's telling you the blueprint of what you have to do. You know, if you can get beyond the time it was written, you know,
mm,
because a lot of things have changed when it comes to who had the resources, but the
mm,
principles are the same. Um, Read that book because the first time you read it, it's not gonna make sense to you. It's like a
mm,
song. You hear a song, it's catchy, it move your head. Then you keep hearing it. Now you're reciting the words. Now you know the hook. Now you got a
mm.
little dance with it, but that's not serving you at all. But if you take that same type of habit and devote it to something that's going to give you a blueprint, I think that's the best thing I could tell somebody. I mean, even if you're older, you know, just start listening to people who have the success.
Mhm. Absolutely.
That's what I would do. I mean, because you're gonna hear about the hardship. Because most people want the glory, but they don't want to go through that. You will hear that the process. Yeah, you gotta fail. You gotta fail. You gotta fail. And I would tell them to listen to Les Brown's Bamboo Tree
Yes.
story. I
Oh,
love that right there. I mean, I can listen to that over and over and over again because
yes.
you think it's not working because you can't see the physical results.
Yes.
But when you go to the gym, you go get on the bench press and I go get on the dumbbells, we're not going to see the results right away,
Nope.
but we can live with that. But when it comes to a business or an idea or a concept, yeah, you got to get the door slammed in your face a bunch of times. And you know, and it goes back to something that you can relate with. You look at a musician, someone like like they did the Chronicles with No Limit and Master P.
That was great. Yes.
And you will see the door is supposed to get slammed in your face, but
Exactly.
emotional intelligence. That's another book that I'm reading. You got to have the understanding that that's supposed to happen.
Yes.
Once you embrace that, like, okay, next, because you just don't know. One person can change the whole trajectory of your entire bloodline.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the
Yeah.
crazy thing is about speaking of the Master P No Limit Chronicles, because that was an amazing story. He not only had to go across country and go out of his comfort zone and whatnot, and he brought his family with him. Okay. But he not only got told no a bunch of times, but he kept failing, got back up, kept failing, got back up. And then he even got the deal of the lifetime, and he had to do the things. He had to put all his money. And that's another thing, because I always quote Damon Dash. You're not really the boss until, for the most part, you put all your money in. It's all money in, no matter what, no matter if it's your mental, the people you're around, actual currency in itself. You have to put all that. You got to be willing to lay it all on the line. If you're willing to go into $100,000 of debt to get a college degree and whatnot, why aren't you willing to go into at least a couple $1,000s of debt to create something of value?
That's Larry. You summed it up. I mean, we tend to lean to things that are very convenient. That's very inconvenient for him to have to do. It's convenient to go to school, but I don't know anybody that started a business, but that goes back to your surrounding. You don't have to know, because we're in a digital age. I'm going to tell my age. I mean, unless you had an encyclopedia when you were young, you didn't have a lot of information that was clearly accessible to you. But we have a computer in our hand, which is a cell phone. What are you using that computer for? You can play games, you can shop, you can surf. I'm not judging you, but guess what? All the information is right there. The books, digital audio. You don't have time, guess what? You can listen to it while you're driving or on the train, whatever it is. So people just got to have the desire, because you got to have a burning desire. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. You got to have the desire to want more, understand that it's a road. You have to go through the down to get to the ups. Most people don't want to do that. It's what's convenient. But until they're faced with adversity where the income is gone or they're back against the wall. And another one, this is probably one of my best readings, is the top distinction between the middle class and millionaires. You got to think long term versus short term, because it's not going to happen right away. And if it happens right away, what usually happens, you're not prepared for the success.
Exactly.
You give a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, well, even 40-year-old that has no financial education $4 or $5 million. First thing we want to do is spend.
Exactly.
You got to protect your assets, because now people gonna come after you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah. I mean, that's the God's honest truth, because TLC had to learn that lesson the hard way. MC Hammer had to learn that lesson the hard way. I mean, I could go on and on. A lot of people before them, they did not know, they did not have that financial intelligence and whatnot. Master P is where he's at today because of his financial intelligence. Damon Dash and Jay-Z are where they're at today because of their financial intelligence. Even when Prince and Michael Jackson were alive, they were where they were, not just because of their talent, but they actually had financial intelligence, which most people never really talk about, in my personal opinion. But the list can go on and on. They were very talented, but they were about their business. James Brown was about his business.
But you got to pay for that. You got to pay for it either with some kind of equity, or you got to pay somebody that knows. And if it's not free for a lot of us, we don't pay attention to it. I mean, if it's free, we don't pay attention to it. We'll pay for it, but we don't want to pay for it. But if you pay for it, you'll pay attention.
That's true. And the crazy thing is, like you said, now with digital age, because even now all the seminars have gone digital because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
And now the seminars are cheaper. They're like, hey, we'll pay $5 or $10, $20, listen to the seminar for a couple of days, and you'll get at least access to some good information, because they always got to sell you something at the end. But everything is like I said, everything is on here.
Cell phone. We working in a digital platform right now.
Exactly. I mean, we're on Facebook and YouTube right now at the same time. Right. So it's like this is what it's all about, and this is making these great connections and whatnot. So what advice would you give people that are thinking about getting into the business or the businesses that you're in right now or currently want to be in?
Come on in, plug into the leadership, and let's have a good time and make some money.
I love that.
That's at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And I think you have to discipline your disappointments. You have to also personal development. I'm big on personal development because it's 4 words that stop a lot of people, and I know that already. I know that. I know that already. Well, the comeback is, how's that working out for you? But you never know that you can learn more. And that's one thing I like about my business. I'm around other like-minded individuals, and it stretches you. When I see someone make $30,000 off of one trip, I'm not gonna cry for the person who want to book a cruise, and I'm only gonna make $300.
I know that's right.
I tell people, like, look, I got bigger fish to catch, so I'm not gonna cry over the small fish. But it's hard to get people to understand that. Well, my friend didn't book with me, so what? Build a bridge, get over it. Even if Larry, if me and you opened up a bar, and all our friends and family came to our bar, we'll go out of business. We need more people, So once you get over that whole illusion, like my friends and family, man, your friends and family aren't put there to fund your endeavors. That's your friends and family. You always have to market. So once you kind of get people over that concept, but I love I'm not gonna say I love what I do. I enjoy what I do,
right?
Because of the product. I'm not convincing you to fix your credit, which you need to fix your credit. I'm trying to break a habit there. I don't want to break a habit. I'm not telling you to lose weight. I don't want to break a habit. I'm telling waterfalls in Disney World, beaches in cruise ships. And guess what? I have no physical inventory. All my inventory is digital. So I get to leverage that right there.
And the beautiful thing is you get to leverage it from a tax perspective, which most people, I think that's opened the eyes up of a lot more people or whatnot, because you own a business on any level, or if you're 1099 on any level.
Larry, I want to grab my book. I'm going to grab my book. Hold up.
Okay. It was. Hold up. Tax season becomes a beautiful thing, especially
I try to educate people, because what I had to learn was you have to take people from the first stage of learning, of understanding that they don't know what they don't know, to the second stage of learning that now I know that I don't know, which is I can't think of the name of it right now because I'm on live, so I'm kind of stumped right now. To the third stage of learning, on to the fourth stage of learning. And once you get good at that, at educating people, it's like an educated buyer. If you go buy a car and the man tell you why you need this stuff in the car, you're like, okay, I feel comfortable giving you my money. But you just got to learn how to educate people. But when it comes to the tax perspective, and a lot of people get mad. Well, they didn't pay any taxes. Well, that's because they know something that you don't know. You need to figure out what they know. And unfortunately, Larry, and I hate to say this, some people look at the overhead for a business as a bill. But let's look at life. Life is all about perspectives. The overhead allows you to write off a portion of your bills. See, that comes with a dirty mind. See, your mind is not ready to receive that information, so you understand the value of what you have. Because I'm telling you, Larry, me and you on the same trip. Larry, the government paid for mine. Who paid for yours? What? The government paid for it? Hey man, remember that thing I was telling you about? I ain't got time for that. I understand. Yeah, you can't get emotional about it. Some people don't know.
Exactly. I quote this one old school wrestler, Booker T. He said he'd always say, "Don't hate the player, hate the game." Okay, and it's time for people to start getting their butts in the game instead of always complaining. I think that's another thing we need to get away from in 2021. Okay, action, not too much emotion. Action.
That's a
implement.
That's a quote I'm gonna post tonight. Action versus emotion. Which one pays you? So if you
Okay.
want to have broke conversations or income producing conversations.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
Action versus emotion. And you can't be emotional about it. You ever notice when certain business owners, when something doesn't work out, they don't go online and talk about what happened. No, you don't. I don't know, for some people, we like tearing the pages out the book when things don't go our way. See, we're emotional.
Hmm.
And last time I thought, was taught, emotions don't get nothing done. Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Exactly.
I'm
And
not saying be emotionless,
right,
but you
right.
have to control your emotion. It's another man. I wish I'd have known about the books. That I would have had a book talk. It's
Oh, we'll do
another
this
one
again. Trust me.
it's another one that I downloaded on Audible. Breaking the habit of being yourself. Oh my God.
Okay.
And it talks about how we have emotions. We look at things that develop in our community like stress, high
Mm-hmm.
blood pressure. That
Mm-hmm.
comes from emotions.
Mm.
You worrying about the wrong thing. And your stress level gets up and you worry and you're looking at what it's doing to your body. But a lot of emotions and stressful things come from resources, lack of,
Mm.
when
Mm-hmm.
somebody unfortunately demise, we got to figure out a way. It seems like we do better in survival mode than we
Mm.
do in creative mode.
Mm.
you know. But that's what we've been taught. We've been bred through survival.
Mm.
So when someone brings something to you to take you out of survival,
Mm-hmm.
you ever heard of the allegory of the cave?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I was taught this by a gentleman down when I was in school, Percy,
Mm-hmm.
and he told it to me. You'll be looking at something the same way until somebody say, "Hey, man, we got another way." Man, you crazy? This the way. So you just got to be mindful of meeting people where they are. And
Mm-hmm.
if they desire to do more, you have to be able to, you want to reach your hand out and help them, not judge them.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think that statement, when the teacher is ready, the student, or the student is ready, the teacher, I can't think of it right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
the people are genuinely out there to help you, but
Mm.
you got to be willing to receive that help. And
Oof.
you can't get uncomfortable when something is told of you to do. Because Mr.
Exactly.
Golden, he said it. If you got a TV in your house and you ain't making $10,000 a month, you need to throw it away. TV away, man. Well, obviously, I don't want $10,000 a month. So, but it's awareness. It's awareness.
That is true, and that is so true. And I just for the future, I just hope that people take these kind of conversations into to mind, and they just find their why and they execute. Because without the real why, it's like you said, when you at the job and you got emotional but listen to some specific movement, music and whatnot, something inside you just clicked, and you
Yeah.
knew it was time for a change. It's that old school song, "A change gonna come." You know what I mean?
And I think when it comes to the why, I know another colleague of mine. She had a acronym. I can't think of the name of it right now, but
Mm-hmm.
your why should drive you. But when you don't feel like doing it or you don't do it, look at the why, whether it be your job, your mom, your dad, your spouse, or your child, and just say, you wasn't important enough for me to do this.
Mm.
It
That
wasn't important for me enough for me to make the extra call, do the extra peak interest, or make another post. You wasn't worth it. Just tell them that. Just look at them in their face and tell them that if you don't feel like doing it for your why. And these are uncomfortable conversations, but I
mm.
think nothing grows in comfort. You have to be stretched. You have to be stretched.
And it goes into because our great grandparents generation owned and flourished more from a real estate perspective and a business perspective, because like you just stated earlier, because they were in a situation to where they were constantly under duress and whatnot, didn't know if they were going to get killed or discrimination, et cetera, and so forth and whatnot. And that helped form communities, and that helped form somewhat, I call little mini dynasties and whatnot throughout the country and whatnot. And that helped form them say, okay, we're going to build it ourselves. We're not just going to constantly depend on others and whatnot. We're going to build our own and whatnot. Okay, ownership is going to be a part of the community and whatnot because we have no choice. If only we could put that creativity because now we're in a time frame where it's not like that, and we can just put that creativity and that same desire I just described of that previous generation of our great grandparents and whatnot, we'd be unstoppable, in my personal opinion. What's your
I
thoughts?
agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, we're the biggest consumers. So, we target it when it comes to products, but at the same time, it takes the collaboration with other people with like minds. That's one of the things they talk about in Think and Grow Rich, collaboration. Like I love collaboration. Collaboration, you always want to think win-win. Win-win, not what's in it for me, but win-win. And you got to understand, you're not going to hit a home run on every deal you're trying to do. Always tell agents, don't try to get rich on the first sale. Think about the future business that you're gonna be able to do. And you got to have that same mindset when it comes to when you're dealing with people. Don't look at everybody as an opportunity and try to be an opportunist, but just recognize the opportunity, because sometimes we can't even recognize the opportunity. That's right. I know I haven't. I've been in places where people are trying to teach me, but you know what I wanted to go do?
What was that?
Something that didn't serve me well at all. So, whether that's going to hang with some friends, not wanting to sit and listen, and just felt like, because it's different than what I know, it ain't right. And when you kind of get that feeling that it's not right, that's when you know you're in the right place.
I could, because I always say your life really truly begins at the end of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to college, whether you're moving to a new state or a country, whether you're starting a business, whatever have you, it's like your life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Once you start I try to say, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, a lot of people, it's kind of hard to do for people who have been doing something so long. When you pull them out of that line, it's like, no, I don't want to do this. And it's like, now you're faced with a dilemma. Do I push this person because we don't have a relationship? Do I question the reasons why they said they want to do it? Do I hold them accountable? And it's real easy for people to ignore you because they know, like, I need to do this, but I don't want to do it. And one of my good friends, man, we were talking the other night, when you talk to people about money that don't want to make money, that need the money, think about that. I'm talking to people who don't want to make money, but need the money. That's a formula that's a disaster waiting to happen, because you're talking to the wrong people.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things I had to learn when that first CD he gave me. You have to talk to a lot of the wrong people fast with anything that you have. You can't get hung up on one person telling you no, or one person just not coming through. That's just part of the process.
It is, and that's another great way for people to grow and whatnot. And my last question, I thank you again and don't forget to plug your websites and business and all that in the comment section so I can post it. But there's a projection by 2025 and 2026 that there's going to be this some sort of a massive recession, not like 2007, but something close, because we're not going to feel the effects of what's happened this year next year, but we're going to feel it eventually. So any advice for the people or just anybody for 2025? I mean, like you said, it's always about looking out in the future and whatnot.
Well, I would tell anybody, build that financial wall around your family. Get educated when it comes to your finances. I know that's something I'm working on diligently. Become more intentional. It's a lot, get around people who have a commonality to get you to the next level in your life, regardless of what it is that you do. I mean, you don't have to be in my business or your business, but you got to do something. You got to start from somewhere. And I think, when everything kind of went left, when we first started having all the information about COVID, I saw a lot of people doing things that, either selling dinners, making masks, doing other things. And that right there, one thing about social media, Larry, a lot of people would say, well, I don't like it on social media because it's negative stuff. That's the people you're following. Let's be honest.
Bingo.
But I started seeing a lot of that, just people finding ways to create and generate other streams of income. And I love seeing that, because I love seeing people win. Yes. To let you know that you can win. You're not down in despair thinking about what's not happening for you. And when you think about what's not happening for you, guess what you attract? more of what's not happening for you. Because it's
Exactly.
all about how you think, man. It's at the end of the day, it's all about how you think.
I couldn't agree with you more because I saw, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I had to start unfollowing a lot of people, such as just because I just like I need positivity in my life. I don't need.
Right.
I wanted negativity. I'd watch Fox News or MSNBC or CNN. I need some positivity, especially what's been going on this year. It's like so. I see, like you said, people delivering food. I've seen people open up a little side cooking business, mobile
Mhm.
barbershops and beauticians. Okay, mobile nail salons. Okay, mobile what is it, bartenders. Okay, because more people were having house parties and whatnot, and more people becoming DJs and things like so. The
Yeah.
list goes on and on. My buddy, he cleans carpets. Now he's got his own sanitation company and whatnot,
Mm.
because of COVID and more buildings, like he's got more contracts. He was able to quit his job. He's not even a driver, he was a driver.
Wow. Wow.
And just because of the need for sanitization and whatnot of commercial buildings and residential homes. So he's so busy. He's like, only time I get on social media is to post what my business is doing because he's gotten that many contracts because of what's happened. Like you said, either you could look at it's kind of like I said when people were having a heart attack about when Donald Trump got elected. I said you have two things you could do. You can either cry about it or do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one or the other. It's be an adult. This is for the adults I'm talking to. Either you're going to cry about it or do something about it.
But you look at like with your buddy, creativity, can breed success. But when you in a lack state of mind, creativity won't flourish. So you always got to be in a abundant state of mind.
Right.
Excuse me, I'm kind of stumbling over my words because I just have so much to say about that.
Oh, it's all good.
It's about what you thinking in lack or you
Mhm.
thinking in abundance.
Mm.
Lack or abundance, and it's something that's overlooked. And I love to go back to how people criticize others who are always looking to get ahead.
Mm.
Because you just never know what can happen. You can get sick and not even losing a job. What if you got sick? What if you got hurt and you can't do anything? Lose your job. What if
Mhm.
your employee just come say, "Look, we got to take a pay cut for us to survive. It has nothing to do with you." But,
Exactly.
sometimes you can smile and be like, "Okay, I got a few different irons in the fire." I
Mhm.
got a cousin, man. I really look up to my cousin. His name is Jarmal, and he always looking ahead when it came to doing things to create a better position for himself. But
Mhm.
sometimes you can get caught up into what's trendy. You
Mhm.
know, I want to go out and hang with my friends. I want to have some fun right now. So
Right.
what you do right now is going to prepare you for the future.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
you want to plant seeds. Are you planting seeds of lack? Or are you
Mm.
planting seeds of abundance? You planting seeds of fear? Or you
Mhm.
planting seeds of success? What are you planting? What are you cultivating? And who are the other farmers that are around you? So you
Mhm.
could be around some bad farmers. Bad farmers.
Mm. Tell like it is. Tell like
Yeah, you got to get around some good farmers. And if you
okay.
don't know any good farmers, get on the internet. They out there.
Stay out there because
Yeah.
just because you live in a specific area doesn't mean anything. Okay,
You're the digital age.
you're in the
You're the
digital age.
digital age.
I mean, heck, I read an article. More and more states are going to lose populations because of the digital age now, because of COVID-19. Not just because of the high cases and whatnot, but because more companies like, well, hey, we're going to save a lot of money if we just have our people work from home.
But look how that happened. That happened out of a disaster, right?
Yes,
And they pivot, right? Versus saying, "Woe me,
exactly.
woe
Thank
me. Why did this happen to me?" No, this is an opportunity. See,
yes.
when you can see this glass right here is halfway empty, but I
Mhm.
can look at this halfway full. So
Mm.
it's all about perspectives. It's
Yeah.
all about perspective. You're gonna have
Yes.
some challenges, but you're supposed to.
That's how you grow.
Yeah, but Larry, hey, you know that, I know that. I'm glad we can share with other people to let them know they're on the right way when it comes to just going through a challenge or adversity, because that's what's supposed to happen. Because what in that book, Take the Stairs, it talked
Mm.
about cows and buffaloes. See,
Mm.
buffaloes run away from the storm.
Mm.
I mean, cows run away from the storm. Buffaloes charge the storm. Let's
Mm.
go through this adversity, because when you go through the adversity, it sharpens you.
Exactly. I mean, it's the old saying, you adapt and overcome. You sink or you swim, you evolve or you disappear and whatnot. And there's a lot of companies that are disappearing now because they refuse to evolve. It's just what it is.
You probably know some of them, like Blockbuster.
And the saddest thing, isn't it true that Netflix came to them with their model and said, "Hey, it's going to the media age is going to go worldwide on the internet and whatnot. Movies are going to transition," and they laughed them out of the office. But now, who's laughing now?
Who has cable anymore?
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's no need for it. There's no
Yeah.
need for it, and they're
You know.
hanging on by a thread. By a
Yeah,
thread,
by a
basically.
thread. Yeah, by a thread. Yeah, man.
I mean, I just come on now. I mean, for God's sakes, and even look at sports. They're still going on now. Nobody's in the arena for the most part, but they still have they got people streaming in now.
Yeah, and somebody gonna find a way to monetize that.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
adapt or you overcome. And the NFL wants their money, the NBA wants their money, so WWE wants their money. So it's like, come on now.
Yeah. So it's like you said, anything goes, man. You gotta figure out a way. If you're sitting there worrying about why it's not happening, let's figure out how we can make it happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Definitely want to have you on again because I'm trying to have another financial panel and whatnot for all of the good creatives and whatnot and entrepreneurs. So and definitely be on a Saturday. So I will definitely contact you, man. Any last words before we call it a night?
Man, I want to say, Larry, man, I appreciate the content you're putting out there, man. I love it, and I like the support in the community that you have created. So just keep doing your thing, man. So let's salute you as well. We've met online, so there's good people out there, and you see the content out there that you post, and I'm like, there's somebody I want to keep, because you got your good days and your bad days. When you got your bad days, you got to lean on other people who still moving, because I don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know what I'm dealing with, but I don't see you stopping,
Exactly.
So thank you. I want to say that's my closing. Thank you, Larry.
No problem. So I appreciate that, man. You have a great night, man, and keep doing what you're doing. All right, brother?
All right, brother. Take care, man.
You as well. Take care. All right, family. Don't forget to check his website out on Facebook and whatnot. I put it in the comment section. You guys can see it on YouTube and you can see it on Facebook. We got about 150 people watching, so please get those likes up. Thank you for the cash apps and thank you for the super chats. It's always greatly appreciated for the content and whatnot. So have a great day, family, and as always, make money moves. Take care.